Hello everybody, welcome back to the channel. This is Michael, KE4EST. And here we are back with the Heathkit frequency counter. And this is the model IB or India Bravo-1103. And this seems to be the really sought after model. And I have two of them. I have this one, which I mentioned before, and then I have the other one that's got issues here and there, and I even got here's some of the boards out of it, just to show you things. And it doesn't work, but hopefully someday I will get that one working, but it's kind of like a parts donor. And this one is the one I want to use. I just think Nixie tubes are really cool. I don't know why. As long as it's pretty accurate, you know, it might be older, but it's just really neat and really cool. I use the IB1103 voltmeter all the time. It's up here out of shot, but I use it. It's there. I mean, it's on my bench. And then of course I've got right up here, you know, I still use the analog Heathkit a lot. But I use them both really just depending on what I'm doing, but I really like, you know, just fire it up and use it. And it's pretty accurate. Every so often I'll check its calibration and check the calibration on that one, but so does pretty good. So I love the Nixie tubes, and I think a lot of people do. Now this one you've seen in part one of the video, even though it was released in July of 2021, and I say 2021 for people in the future watching this, it said July 2021, which is pretty much true. You've seen in the channel update videos I've done how, you know, I had some family here and this and that, and had some things going on, so it's kind of hard to shoot videos like I wanted to. But I shot that one in, I think it was June, about the middle of June. But I went ahead and marked it as July when I was doing the editing, because, you know, that gave me about 5 to 6 weeks to get this one done, you know, or part 2 done. And I got it mostly done, but I didn't get I got this done. I actually had to clean this back up a little bit. I had some dust on it. There's a spot there. I don't know what that is. It's trying to come off. I shot the video, or I got this done, and then I shot most of the video, but you know what? Things come up, this, that, and everything that was going on. So you know what I did? I just said, you know what? I am just going to shoot it all over. So this is like take number 3 or 4 or something, because sometimes I'll go through 3 or 4 takes, just I guess a lot of people do. Sometimes it's neat to have just shoot a video, anything goes, whatever, try to edit out in post, you know, coughing and throat clearing or whatever, but other than that, just let it go, see how it goes. And it's neat sometimes. I like to watch some other YouTubers do that sometimes, but sometimes you want to get to the point more and not be bored. So anyway, I've already rambled on long enough with that. So what I've done, and I started to pull it out, but I thought, I'll just leave it in. It's not a whole lot to show, because you have to take the screw loose and all that here. Take this out, but this board, you know, like I showed you before, where's the other one? Now the other one, it's got you can just pull it right out, work on it, and stick it right back in. But this is the one out of the other one. It would go in just like that. And this one, you can see, this here tested out really great, just like I thought it would. I disordered one side of it, put it on the high voltage tester, the Carlson tester, every kind of tester, checked it for capacitance, everything, you know, ESR, everything was great, so I left that in there. Change it out if you want, up to you, but I just went ahead and left that one. But I did, you can see, changed out these 3 electrolytics here. And of course this was good here. So I just, that's as far as I went with it, just changing out these 3 capacitors right here. So did that. And then we had the issue with the tube in the front here rolling around. It's kind of aggravating. You got to take screws out of the back behind here and all that to get this face off to get down to them. And this is one out of the other one. Let me show you there. Let me zoom in just a little bit there. I wanted to show you hopefully you can see this. You see, careful not to wipe any of that off, because that will definitely wipe off the writing I'm talking about on the tube here. If you look, this is a piece of plastic. I don't want to really take it off. It's a pain in the butt to get back on, but it just slides on and off. But what you got to do is, you can see how these pins are. You've got to set and figure out, make sure which pin is what, because I mean, you can see the bottom of it. They go around, and make sure you got which pin, and bend them out a certain way to get them so they'll slide through this here. And you can see how they've slid through there. And that's all it was. I see we got dust on top of it, so I've not cleaned this one. That was all it was. It was just out of the socket. And then when I fired it up again, just to make sure everything, I noticed another one was reading. I run through, put different frequencies into it. It was missing one of them. And I think it was this very last digit here. Pulled it out, and one of the pins was really, really short. And I don't know why, but if you pull this out, and I had to take it off, these are all jacked up in here. They wasn't as pretty as this one. So whoever made this one did a prettier job of it. But so I had to play with them. These are all bent. See how straight them are? Pretty straight, nice and pretty straight. It was all wobbly. You look like your finger or something in there. I had to try to take, like little needle nose and see which ones. I think I used these. Well, of course it's tangled up. Always, always, always. I used these. Reach in there like that and try to straighten them and get them straight and get this. And because they was all messed up, these would be some shorter and some a little bit longer. Believe me. But it's a labor of love. But it took time to get that all straightened out and get them in there, because I wanted to use it. I could easily pull this one here I've got just for show, to show you on here, and stuck it in there. But they're getting harder and harder to find, these Nixie tubes. So I got it straightened out and got it in there and got it working. And then what I did, one of the other digits, it was working, but you'd count up and say 1. It would skip 2, be completely blank on 2. You go 3, 4, 5, 6 would be completely blank. If you put a certain frequency in, so say you put in 6 megahertz, and you push the buttons on the front so the 6 would line up with that. And you put in 1 megahertz, fine. 2 megahertz, it'd be blank. 3 megahertz, 4 megahertz, 5 megahertz, 6 megahertz, it'd be blank again. So I took it out, messed with it, cleaned the socket, put it back in, even switched out, Nixie tubes, switched them around. Still the same thing. So what it come down to be is one of these 74041 Nixie tube driver chips. These are getting hard to find too. I don't even think they make them anymore. And I happen to have some from years ago. I'd bought some years ago before I even thought I'd really get, into doing anything like this. I just liked, Nixie tubes and old stuff and whatever. And this guy was telling me, he's like, you better try to get some of those. They're going to quit making those. And I don't know when they quit making them or when you quit, but it's still relatively easy to get a hold of. And this was back in the 90s, I believe. And so 80s, 90s, yeah, it had to be 90s. So I ordered some. So I actually had one, instead of robbing one out of the other one, which I would have if I needed to, because I'm trying to, keep the other ones, everything I can, so maybe get it going. And put it in there, and it worked. And then I checked all these. If you ever have one of these and you're going through it and you can't, the digits ain't counting up right, or if it just shows a 5 or something or a 0 and won't count. A lot of times when that happens, it'll be one of the chips back here. Schematic here. I'll show you this schematic. I ain't gonna do justice here, but this folds out and then there's another side to it. So take 8 sheets of paper and tape them together, and that's how big the schematic they give you to fold out, which is that's really nice to have to be able to when you're trying to go through something. So you can see how I'm not zooming or anything. Bam, there it is. But you can see, well, they don't have the numbers on here either. They got their own part number. It's in the book though. But you have the counter chip, and that's feeding the buffer, which stores, you know, for the next thing, and then you got your driver for the Nixie tube. So sometimes if a tube ain't working, see, all these go in and out to the rest of the circuit here. And sometimes, you know, this could be a little different, but it comes in. So a lot of times if one digit ain't working or it's acting goofy, and you went through and checked the tube's fine, or you switched out another tube that you know is working, it's fine. The pins ain't all goofed up. Everything seems to be there like it's supposed to be. Very carefully, because, you know, they're getting harder to get some of these things. Switch out maybe those 2 chips there, these 2 chips here, these 2 chips, and see if it follows. And if it follows, then you know, well, it's that chip. And then try to obtain another chip. But so that's what I did at first. I started with, I think it was this second to last digit maybe. No, it was this one here. See, that chip's a little different there. And this was made the 31st week of 1973. The date code on it. And this is what I've got. So I guess they were new old stock when I bought them. But I started with this chip and switched 2 around. That didn't do nothing. Switched these 2 around. That didn't do nothing. Switched these 2 around and it moved. I said, aha. So I went looking for a chip and fixed it. So, you know, that's what you need to do if you ever have that issue. You know, it's something like this. It's, you know, I'm just letting you know, it's easy to kind of go through. Just put it in your mind that sometimes you can do that. Especially in a case like this where you got a whole rows of the same chips here. You can go through and just very carefully, because you don't want to fry the chip that's good. You know, make sure you're not got full of static and all that stuff, and carefully pull the chip out. But you can switch chips around and see if your problem follows. And if this one's bad, and you switch chips around this way, and then it follows up to this one, and say, well, it's that chip there. So that makes it, you know, even if you ain't got another parts donor or nothing, you're just going through. So that makes it handy with that. But that's what I did, and then I went and dug up another one and got it working here. So, and like I said, I showed you the schematic. I'm not going to go through everything and make the video really, really long, but I've got the manual here. Look how thick that manual is. Get back the camera back out. Look how thick that manual is. You know, that's a good 1/2 inch thick or better. Really like that. Because some of the Heathkit manuals are a lot thinner. They don't have a whole lot. I mean, they got stuff to them, but they don't get real. This gets into real details. It's got troubleshooting, and that's the nice thing about it. There's troubleshooting section. If this don't work, then try this. If this don't work, if it's acting like this, here could be the problem. If this is not working, then it could be this chip, and this transistor, so on and so forth. And it tells you, you know, so you ain't got to read the whole theory of it or really understand completely how everything works. You can just go through and change up the parts it's telling you, and hopefully that'll fix it. But I could lay that there to keep that light out of there. I may have too much light on the front of it, but let's plug it up and turn it on. Ooh, pretty. And let me turn on the signal generator. And what do we set at? 100 megahertz. What? Let me set this. I'm going to set this signal generator to, I don't know, we'll start with, I want something odd besides ones and tens and hundreds. Let's start with 2.5. Whoops. 2.5 megahertz. Let's put this in here. And turn on the RF. Yeah, let's bring that light back. Yeah, let's bring that light back there. Guess I can leave the, well, maybe I'll turn that one light off there. See it really good. Now you see that right there? That's fading out and fading back in. That ain't doing that in real life, like I mentioned in the first video. That's just the, where the camera and the, you know, the sync on this and the camera is just fading, you know, real close, but not perfect. So it's just, it's not going to do that. You know, it's not doing that on this end, so it's not an issue there. It's just the way the camera is. So there's that. And we can move it down. It's not bad. Let's go back up here. It's not bad. Now this is running the internal oscillator. It's got a 4 megacycle internal oscillator. And here's like the board for that. Now the other one. And here's the calibration on it. And that's all you do for calibration. Just turn that right there, and believe me, it's really touchy. But this ain't bad at 2.5. And see, it's showing hertz, so we're at 2. See the zeros, so it's nice to have all these digits. We got 2,500,000 000. Well, it's supposed to be 000, but it's 2, so it's 2. And as it warms up, this is going to keep climbing up here a little bit. That's something else, you know, with any equipment you use, especially this one that's not lab grade. You know, make sure, unless you got a good external oscillator hooked up to it, turn it on, let it warm up for a while before you start using it. You know you're going to be working on something, you want to test the frequency on something. Go ahead, this is sitting on the bench over here to the side somewhere. Go ahead and turn it on and let it be warming up. But you can see it's only off 2 hertz at 2.5 megahertz. Let's do some other arbitrary thing out of my head. Let's do 36.6 megahertz. So what that does. Now we're off 29 hertz. So we got 3. Oh, my 6s are working. We got 3,660,000. Whoop, no, 36. 36,600,000. It's supposed to be all zeros. And what you want to do, like I said, is you can get this close with the cover off if you want to. But then you want to, like I've got the case off of it right now. You want to put the case back on, the covers back on it, and all that. And plug it up, let it set, and run for an hour or so. And let that heat build up inside. And don't be alarmed if you messing around. Now be careful messing in this, like I always say. You got your 100-volt line feeding your Nixie tubes. It ain't got a whole lot of current behind it, but it can still zap the crap out of you. And then, of course, if you take this off here, if I stick my hand right back in here, you can't see. Well, I can lift it very carefully. There's the power supply section. You've still got some high voltage, a little bit high voltage there going to these. But you've got line voltage coming in right there on the back. Not the back, but right there on top of that transformer there. Reach down and move your thumb in there or something, move it and stick your finger in that. That ain't going to feel good. And be careful sticking your fingers underneath. You don't want to reach up and grab that 100-volt line there. Still ain't going to feel good. I wish that wouldn't fade in and out like that. But you want to have that case on it, make sure it's on, and then go through and, you know, before you do the alignment on it. It's going to make a big difference if you, you know, do that. You line it up now like this, nothing on it, so the heat can dissipate out. And like I started to say, these chips, they're designed differently. They're a little heftier, and some of them you can look at them. See how these ceramic chips here, these here, and then compared to, you can probably just, you can kind of tell it in the camera. It'd be better if you in real life to see it, but a plastic chip, a ceramic chip, and that just feels more rugged, and it looks, and it's got a different feel to the texture. And this is, you can tell that's smooth plastic. These here are going to generate some heat, and see these transistors. Some of these are got the metal cans. They're going to generate heat, so don't be alarmed if, well, I feel some heat coming off of there. And there's no tubes in this thing, no, you know, vacuum tubes like used for like triodes and diodes and pentodes or whatever. So some of you're gonna feel some heat, no big deal. No big deal on that. But if I leave it open like this, and then I put something on it to cap the heat in, if I talk long enough, you'll see this start climbing up. We're at 33 hertz off, but with it off like this, you can reach in there and try to adjust it and get it down and get it close, and then see how it's already starting. There it goes, because the signal generator I got is dead on, so it's not drifting, but this is drifting up here. You can see you see there in the background here, you might can see that, or I was messing with it before I started this frequency counter back here. I had it set for 2.5 megahertz, and it's all zeros all the way across. Of course, not counting the 6. If you're not familiar with this is not part of the frequency. That just tells you how many zeros, but don't look at that. It's all zeros all the way across. But this ain't, obviously. So what you would do, and this one, mine don't line up really good. I wonder. I'm going to take this donor real quick and show you. It's dirty and stuff. It's not. I'm not cleaned it or anything. I'm going to stick its board back in. I'm just curious. Sorry if the audio got a little low there. I was looking away from the mic. Yeah, this was doing the same thing. Let's see if I can carefully do this without touching them and all that. Where you is? Right there. See how this hole right here, come on, right here, that's not lining up perfectly. The other one, or this one, is a little bit worse than that. But I will still attempt to show you, so we can, and it's real touchy. I will try a lot here. Get in there and on that. I don't know if I'm even on that. Yep. And I'm bringing it down. And I am just breathing on this screwdriver. Well, it's not going anymore because of it being so. And I got it down closer. Okay. Let it go for a minute. And you want to do that and then let go. Do it and let go, because sometimes, your metal thing will interfere, and you should probably using something like this, but it's hard to get it in there. I don't know. Well, anyway. So we've got it closer, but if I put this on there, of course it's going to come back up. Now I wonder, at 36 megacycles, I have, yep, there it goes that quick. I have got that, almost down to 0. You see how far it went down. But if I go, let's go ahead and do 1 megahertz. Well, not bad. I thought it would be all 9s. But that ain't bad, boy. Look at that thing spot on almost there. And when it's down here, it's up there, it don't take much. And then down lower, it's real touchy. Bring it down. Let's see, put it back like I had it. It's off a little bit. Now let's see, this thing will do, let's see, 180 megahertz is supposed to be the highest it will read. So let's do 150 to start with. Let's see how good this thing is. We'll do frequency 123.456 megahertz. Wow, look at that. 123 megahertz, 456 kilohertz. So we're off 24. And see this here? I think you can probably see that in the... I'll do that. Like I showed in part 1, that's just a neon, just a little neon lamp sticking up there. For the 1, I guess you could change that out and put it another Nixie tube if you wanted to. That'd be kind of neat. But it only work on 0 or 1. But anyway, that's pretty good. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. The accuracy I can get out of that. Anyway, so let's go 150 megahertz. We're off 32, 33 hertz at 150 megahertz. Let's go ahead and jump it to 180. Yep, it's locking at 180. Holding it pretty good. Uh-oh. So when you get close to the pushing it to the slammy, they start doing that. Let's see how far we can go. 185. Whoop, that's 182. And it's showing it. 185. Nope, it's gone goofy. It says I just can't keep up with that. That's just nope. Let's see. But if we speed it up, speed it way up. See if we can go to 190. No, 199. No, this ain't gonna do it, is it? 190. Nope. Alright. I'll quit driving it crazy. It's like 88 megahertz. Bottom end of the FM band. Bring it back over here. So, there you go. There's what I've done to it. It's pretty, ain't it? And get the case back on it and do some final tweaks on it. And like I said, that's all you got to really do. And put this on the bench. So I'm going to redo this bench a little bit anyway. Let's see if I can get this on the bench and where I can use it instead of being sitting in the floor or something, pick it up and use it, or sitting on a shelf somewhere. Well, once I get something like this done, I don't leave them on set them on the floor. I put them on a shelf. Got a whole shelf of this stuff. Well, 2 or 3 shelves of this stuff. And I got shelves of stuff that's not been done yet. Still waiting to be restored or fixed or whatever. And some of it I probably won't ever fool with. I just bought it because I wanted it. Some of it I will. But anyway, well, I hope you've enjoyed this video. And I wish I'd had these 2 videos out back in July or June. But it is the way it goes. But so this is, if you've reached this far, part 2, don't forget to reach down and hit a like. I think a lot of people like the videos, but they forget to hit the like button, and I do too sometimes. But maybe it'll help the YouTube algorithm and get my videos out there a little bit more. But anyway, I don't want to get into all that begging stuff. You know, some videos I do that on. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and share, and tell everybody. You know, it's funny these kids get into doing all that stuff. I watch some of these videos that my kids watch, and you have these other kids that are like, "Oh yeah, man, check out my channel. Don't forget to like, subscribe, share. You can catch them on Instagram, Facebook, blah 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 blah." You know, and all this stuff. You know, they get real crazy with it. But I just enjoy doing this. I enjoy, you know, showing what I do and helping somebody out. And if you ever have any questions or anything, just post them below the video. Just put them down there below the video. Let me know. And, you know, some of these things I'll revisit. May get this thing going. I may get the other one and may have a video on it. But if I do, I'll try to condense it into this one video instead of making 2 videos. Because I've already got this video, these 2 videos showing how it works. And going through it and all that. And we'll just do a video on that one. Maybe going through and what I figure out and find out on it. But I kind of wanted to switch some parts around with this one into that one to, you know, start tracing it down to the problem a little quicker. But I didn't want to goof something up if that one's got a major problem somewhere. You know, say there's somebody's wired something wrong. You know, these was, you know, made at somebody's house. Maybe somebody made it and never got it to work and just set it on the shelf and then sold it. You know, and I don't want to have, you know, if something's wired wrong and I take a board out, and I already went through it and checked voltages, so most, you know, voltages are okay, so it's probably not that. But I don't want to take one of these boards out of this, you know, reach and pull it out, stick it in the other one, and then put it back in this one. This one quits working because I've fried a chip on this because something's wired up wrong down here, and I'm sending voltage through something it shouldn't have voltage or whatever. So, anyway, I will quit boring you, and until the next video, this is Michael, KE4EST 73.